So I've been listening to comments as well as talking to friends and other game players I know about Battlefront's Christmas preview video, and there's a lot of questions about that one game, Clash of Steel. What is it? What is it going to do with the future of Battlefront and Flames of War? Well, I don't have any information for it. That's coming next year, and by subscription too. But what I can do is look into the information we do have and try to extrapolate what's going on with Clash of Steel. So here's some things we do know. The release date is April 2024. It's a close date, so this is already in motion. The product is being packaged and will be at the distribution centers in February so it can arrive in stores during its April release date. We know it's an alternate history. Their fighting ended in 1944 and began again in 1948. This means they can literally focus on their what-if tanks. And I do see they're including plenty of powerful and not so powerful late war tanks as well. My big question is, how are the sides divvied up? Why is Germany with the Soviets? Or can they fight each other too? I have no clues on this. I don't know where it's going. They do say it's going to be a tank versus tank game. That's been Battlefront's dream for a while. Just look at a lot of their starter box sets and you'll get the picture. They say they're releasing in 3 waves, and the first is Operation Unthinkable. Just to clarify what they said, I'm wondering if the first wave is the starters and the platoon boxes, or is that first wave just the starters? I'm not sure. Now, we do know it uses the core Flames of War rules. So are the stats going to be the same? Are they modifying the points or the stats to fit this game? We do have the Leviathan's preview, so we kind of know it's coming for Flames of War. Now, I'm wondering, will it be closer to Flames of War in statistics? Or will it be like X-Wing with mass tanks? If they found some way to stick the World of Tanks stats onto the Flames of War rules, that might be painful. I'm hoping, and it should most likely be, essentially a different version of Flames of War. The starters, of course, do come with everything to play. It seems to be really codependent on having those decks from a starter to even play the game. This image seems to imply they're using a game mat, but it may just be an example. At least we know it plays on a 6x4 table and not 3x3 like Tanks does. They say it has a new dynamic mission generation system, but to be fair, in the past with other Battlefront or Guild Force 9 games, we built armies before the scenario in those games as well, and then at the table, the scenario was decided. The only way this doesn't happen is if you're playing a historical scenario. Now, they have a deck for setup, which determines what the layout of the board is. They have instructions, which gives you the rules, and they give you 2 or more objective cards based on how many objectives the setup allows. I do guess, though, that also the objective cards flip when you finally get to them, so it can add more rules. This also makes me wonder, do those change if somebody else decides to grab the objective? I don't know. We'll find out. It does imply that victory points will accumulate during the game. Now, this could be crazy, as a well-placed Moss could block out an entire wave of T-34s from grabbing the objective. However, some fast T-34s could sit on the objective for 3 turns while the Mass tries desperately to shoot them off. There's the 2 starters. This is the thing we really want to talk about. They look the same size as Flames of War starters. So if you look here at this picture off of Pete's shoulder, they are the same size and general shape that you would expect out of those cardstock boxes that most of the starters come in. Begs the question still, are they pre-assembled or not? If they're on the sprue, that's more economical. If they're pre-assembled, that's a charm point, but the price will go up, especially if they have custom vacuum plastic holders. So I'm guessing the price for these starters is going to be somewhere between $65 to $120 United States dollars, depending. There's no reason to be as expensive as Warhammer, so hopefully the price stays down or at least competitive with other non-Warhammer games. Then there's the joy of the platoon boxes. They say it's for the starter box tanks and many, many more. I look at these and they seem to be in lots of 2 or 3, which seems to be coordinated throughout when you look through the rest of the pictures of the starter set and of that battle scene they have. All of the units seem to be either 2 or 3. This makes me worry again about the sprue versus pre-assembled point that I brought up earlier. Yet, we see that the tanks in the game do have definitive command teams. That's an easy way to track unit composition. However, notice the ISU 130 unit seems to be in a lot of 5. Yeah, they only have 1 command team, but that could just be a 2 and a 3 or unique to the starter. Whether or not the starters have unique setups might just be, since we have here a singular mouse and here a 4-pack of Centurions. So I can't quite figure out how they're going to organize the teams in this game, but still, my dreams of a Soviet 6-pack got dashed with these team leaders showing we have 2 units of 3 and not a full glorious 6. unless one of those is an HQ unit. Now see this Chaffee from the USA battle scene? That is either the second team leader of 2 packs of 2, or that is an HQ dawdling around with a 3-pack. Also, the organization of teams on the table in this game may be different. Notice here we have the team leader of the T-29s off wandering away from his 2 friends. So that's something different we have to notice. Talking about the tanks that are coming, we do have the ones from the preview from World of Tanks, but the T-29 or T-30, the T-95, the Hellcat, the Chaffee, the Jackson, the Comet, the Centurion, the Tortoise, the Moss, the Panzer 470, the Jagdpanther, the Tiger II, and the Panther F with 88, the T-54 prototype, the IS-3, and the ISU-130. This list suggests that each nation will get at least 6 vehicles. I'm not sure, but we'll have to just see. We're also, just to point this out, we're getting the Panther F Schmalterm with 88. That's going to be the best Panther in the game, if not the best tank in the game. It'll have more armor, a way better gun, and I can't think of a way that thing would be sufferable. It'll be strong enough to take on the big boys, and it'll be cheap enough that you can reasonably fight smaller tanks with it. So when it comes to Clash of Steel, my real hope is that they make it pretty much a second version of Flames of War. There has been some complaint that the non-historicity of Flames of War is off-putting to a lot of the old-school historical-style wargamers. And so having a separate war game where a lot of the what-if tanks can go out and frolic, that would be terrific, especially if we started including stuff like Stur Emils and KV-5s. Why not, right? But in any case, I think Clash of Steel is still up in the air. I would really want to see it on the more economical side where I get to build my own sprues. I mean, there is a charm to having these pre-build guys. I mean, there's something cool about just picking up a tank and having it already. But the deal is that some people, it's just going to be easier to get the tanks and the armies going if we have the price point. And the price point comes with building your own stuff. Although this would be pretty cool. However, it'd be up to the assemblers to put individual command teams in there, whereas if we have our own sprues, we can do it ourselves. And that would solve also the how are the teams organized issue. You build them how you like. So that's just my first thoughts on Clash of Steel. I have no clue. The subscription emails haven't come out yet. So I'm going to find out in the near future what's going on with Clash of Steel, and hopefully I'll keep in touch with you guys as far as any kind of updates that I find. And hopefully we all have a pretty good time with the game, and the game turns into something really cool. Thanks for watching the video, and hopefully you have a great rest of your new year.